Namaste. My name is JVN Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. I am teaching you subject Unit Operations in Food Industry, and it is for class BSc FST second semester and BTech FBT second semester. In our previous session, we will discuss about the homogenization and types of homogenization and principles of homogenization, etc. And in today's session, we will discuss all about the size separation. Okay, so as you all know, size separation is a unit operation. That's why you are studying in the unit operation subject now. So a special technique, it is a special technique which is used to separate the particles of specified size, which is known as the process of the size separation. Okay, so the Indian Pharmacopoeia has laid down the standards for the powders for pharmaceutical purposes, and the IP specifies that 5 grades of powder which are as under. Number one is the coarse powder, a powder of which all the particles pass through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 1.70 mm. That is the number 10 sieve, and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 355 URN. Number 44 sieve is known as coarse powder. Okay. Second grade of powder is moderately coarse powder, a powder of which all the particles pass through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 710 nanometers, and number size is number of sieve is 22 and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 250 nanometer, that is sieve number 60, is called moderately coarse powder. Next is the moderately fine powder. If all the particles of a powder pass through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 355 micrometer, that is the number 44 sieve, and not more than 40% through a sieve with nominal mesh aperture of 180 micrometer, that is number 85 sieve, it falls in this group. Okay. Next is the fine powder. In case all the particles pass through a sieve with a nominal mesh aperture of 180 micrometer, that is the sieve number is 85, it is called as fine powder. Then last type of grade is very fine powder, and if all the particles of the powder pass through a sieve with a nominal mesh aperture of 125 micrometer, that is the sieve number is 120, it is said to be a very fine powder. Okay. Next is the sieves for pharmacopoeial testing are constructed from the wire cloth with the square meshes woven from the wires of brass, bronze, stainless steel, or any other suitable material, and the wire should be of uniform circular cross section and should not be coated and plated, and there should not be any reaction between the material of the sheep and the substance which is being shifted from it. Okay, if there is the reaction, then it will not that will not consumed by the consumer because it will affect the health of the human. Okay, so standards for sieves used for the pharmacopoeial testing must specify the following. So number one is the number of sieve, and sieve number indicates the number of meshes in a length of 2.54 centimeters in each transverse direction parallel to the wires, and nominal size of the aperture is the nominal size of the aperture basically indicates the distance between the two wires. Okay, and it represents the length of the side of the square aperture, and the IP has given the nominal mesh aperture size for majority of the sieves in mm or in centimeter. Then nominal diameter of the wire. Wire mesh sieves are made from the wire having a specified diameter in order to give a suitable aperture size and sufficient strength to avoid the distortion of the sieve. And next standard is the approximate percentage sieving area. And this standard expresses the area of the masses, a percentage of the total area of the sieve, and it will depends on the size of the wire used for a particular sieve number. Okay, so generally the sieving area is kept within the range of 35 to 40% in order to give a suitable strength to the sieve. Okay, next is the tolerance average aperture size. Some variation in the aperture size is unavoidable. Okay, and when this variation is expressed as a percentage, it is known as the aperture tolerance average. Next is the sieving method. And in this method, the fine powder is separated from the coarse powder by using a sieves of desired number. Okay, this method is also used for sieving of wheat flour at our homes as well, where we will remove the, we will basically separate the husk and the endosperm from the, sorry, the wheat, the bran from the wheat flour. Okay, uh, by the sieving method in our home. Okay, different sieving methods, different types of purposes are resolved by the sieving methods at our home. Okay, so the degree of fineness of a powder is known with the help of the sieve, through which the powdered material is passed, and sieves are numbered in order to distinguish from each other. Okay, so the size separation of the powder is done by passing the powdered material through a set of the sieves, and sieves are arranged in the descending order. That is, the sieve of the larger size is at the top and the smallest one at the bottom. Okay, so the bottom sieve is attached to the receiving pan. Then the material is placed in the uppermost sieve, and the sieves were shaken with the help of the mechanical shaker or electromagnetic devices, and it helps the particles to pass through the sieves. Okay, so the working of mechanical sieving devices are based on any of the following methods. Number one is the agitation, number two is the brushing, and number three is the centrifugal. So agitation methods, basically sieves may be agitated in a number of different ways, such as the oscillation. The sieve is mounted in a frame that oscillates back and forth, and it is a simple method, but the material may roll on the surface of the sieve. Okay, next method is the vibration. The sieve is vibrated at a high speed by means of an electronic device, and the rapid vibration is imparted to the other particles on the sieve, which helps to pass the powdered material through it. And number third is gyration, and in this method, system is made so that sieve is on rubber mounting and connected to a eccentric flywheel, and this gives a rotary movement of small amplitude to sieve, which high turn gives spinning motion to the particles, and that helps to pass them through a sieve. Agitation methods are not continuous methods, but can be made by inclination of the sieve and the provision of separate outlets for undersize and oversize the particles. Next method is the brushing method. Brushing methods, in this case, a brush is used to move the particles on the surface of the sieve and to keep the meshes clear. The brush is rotated in the middle of case of a circular sieve, but spiral brush is rotated on the longitudinal axis in case of a horizontal cylindrical sieve. Next method is the centrifugal methods. In this method, a high speed rotor is fixed inside the vertical cylindrical sieve, so that on rotation of rotor, the particles are thrown outwards by a centrifugal force, and the current of air which is produced due to high speed of rotor helps in sieving the powder. On shaking the powdered material in a mechanical or the electromagnetic device, using any of the above methods, the weight of the powder retained on each sieve is determined. The percentage of each fraction is then calculated. And sieving method is a rapid process, and it requires a very little skill, and the equipment used for sieving is not so expensive. Okay, so the sieving method is also used in the wheat flour mill, in which they were basically in the top of the sieve, they are placing the whole wheat flour, in which there is a bran and endosperm flour powder, and then that will be subjected to shake by the shaker. And in the topmost sieve, there is a bran layer, and downward there is a flour, and no, sorry. In the top of the sieve, there is a bran. Just below the bran layer sieve, there is semolina. Then after there is, before semolina, there is a porridge. Then after porridge, there is a semolina. After semolina, there is a wheat flour, and then there is a refined wheat flour. Okay, in the last one sieve, there is a refined wheat flour, because the particle size of the refined wheat flour is is smaller than the other components of the wheat flour. Okay, so next is the cyclone separator, and the principle of cyclone separator is the centrifugal force is used to separate solids from the fluids, and the separation depends not only on the particle size but also on the density of the particles. Hence, depending on the fluid velocity, the cyclone separator can be used to separate all types of the particles, or to remove only coarse particles and allow the fine particles to be carried through with the fluid. Now, the constructions of the cyclone separator. It consists of a cylindrical vessel with the conical base, and in the uppermost of the vessel, it is fitted with a tangential inlet and a fluid outlet, and at the base, it is fitted with the solid outlet. Then the working is the suspension of a solid in gas, usually the air, is introduced tangentially at a very high velocity, so that rotary movement takes place within the vessel, and the fluid is removed from the central outlet at the top, and the rotary flow within the cyclone separator causes the particles to be acted on the centrifugal force, and the solids are thrown out to the walls. Thereafter, it falls on the conical base and discharged out through the solids outlet. Next is the uses. The cyclone separators are used to separate the suspension of a solid in a gas, and it can be used with the liquid suspension of solids. Next is the air separators, and it works on the same principle as that of the cyclone separator, but in this case, the air movement is obtained by means of rotating disc and the blades. And to improve the separation, the stationary blades are used. By controlling these blades and the speed of rotation, it is possible to vary the size at which separation occurs. Now, the construction. It consists of a cylindrical vessel with a conical base in the upper part of the separator. The vessel is fitted with a feed inlet, and at the base, there are two outlets, one for the line particles and other for the heavy particles. And the rotating disc and the rotating blades are attached to a central shaft to produce the air movement. Next is the working. As shown in the sample powder is passed through the feed inlet, which falls on the rotating disc. The rotating blades are shown by the arrows, and the fine particles are picked up and are carried into the space where air velocity is sufficiently reduced, and the fine particles are dropped and ultimately collected to an outlet meant for the fine particles, and the heavy particles which fall downward are removed at an outlet meant for the heavy particles. Okay, then last is the uses. Air separator is often attached to the ball mill or hammer mill to separate and return the oversized particles for further size reduction. Next is the illustration method, and the size separation of the powders is based on the low density of the fine particles and high density of the coarser particles. Illustrating tank is used to separate the coarse and the fine particles of the powder after leviation, and the dry powder or the paste made by the leviation process is kept in an illustrating tank and mixed with the large quantity of water, and the solid particles are uniformly distributed in the liquid by the stirring, and then it is allowed to settle down, and depending upon the density of the solid particles, it will settle down or remain suspended in the water. The sample is withdrawn at different heights through the outlets, and these are dried, and the powder with various size fractions are collected. Nowadays, lutration process, the particles are suspended in a moving fluid, generally water or the air, and the apparatus consists of a vertical column with an inlet near the bottom for the suspension, an outlet at the base for the coarse particles, and an overflow near the top for fluid and fine particles. One column will give single separation into the two fractions. If more than one fraction is required, a number of tubes of the increasing area of cross section can be connected in a series, and the velocity of the fluid decreases in the succeeding tubes as the area of the cross section increases, thus giving a number of fractions, and these fractions are separated and then dried. Now, what are the advantages of the illustration method? The process is continuous. Depending on the number of fractions required, the same number of tubes of different area of cross section can be connected. The separation is quick as compared to other methods of the separation, and the apparatus is more compact than as that used in the sedimentation methods. And this main disadvantage of this method is that the suspension of the solid particles has to be diluted, which may not be desired in certain cases. Okay. From this session, questions may be asked in your final exams, like what is the size separation? What is the need of size separation? What are the advantages of size separation? And what are the different methods of size separation? Explain the sieving method, explain the cyclone separator, explain the illustration methods, etc. Okay. Likewise, questions will be asked in your final exam. So explain accordingly in your answer sheets. Thank you so much for watching this video.